How to break into tech as a cybersecurity professional without a tech background. Break into tech as a cybersecurity professional without a tech background. And I'll be having with me tonight Abid Sadiq, a technical recruiter, and I'll also be having Adebayo Tanimo also here tonight. So this will be a very interesting session. I'm trying to stream on Facebook, so please be patient with me. I will soon be done with this so that people can also watch on Facebook. Right. So we're going live on Facebook. So tonight, I just want you to avoid any form of distraction, and I want you to be focused. Yeah, okay, so I think we're good. We're good now on Facebook. We're good to go. We're good to go. So good to go. Now, the next thing is, let's get into the agenda for today. The agenda for today. Ready? Are we ready for this? So what's our agenda for today? Let me list out our agenda. Once we have our agenda for today, we hit the ground running. We hit the ground running. So, how to break into tech as a cybersecurity professional without a tech background or without a computer science background. Is it possible? Can I break into tech if I don't have a tech background at all? Is this true? And if it is, how can this be achieved? How can this be achieved? So let's get into it. So you're welcome to tonight's session, and we are here to talk about how to break into tech as a cybersecurity professional without a tech background. So that's what we are here to discuss, how to break into cybersecurity without a tech background. Good. So what's the agenda? Number one, agenda is, who am I? Who am I? I'm the founder of Digital Consulting. So you get to know about me briefly. Number two, what is Digital Consulting about? So you get to find out about Digital Consulting. Number three, why tech? Why you should break into tech. And why cybersecurity in particular. So we also need to find out about that. Why tech? Why should you break into tech? Why cybersecurity? And number four, look at how to break into cybersecurity. So from here, we move into the why to the how. How to break into cybersecurity without struggles. Without struggles and tears. And tonight we'll be having a cybersecurity professional, a senior cybersecurity professional in the UK who works with the UK Cyber National Intelligence Force. We will not be able to show his face because of conflict of interest issues. Because of the contract he has with the British government, he must not speak anywhere publicly on cybersecurity because he has a lot of information. So he can only talk to us, but we won't see his face. But we'll also be having with us Abid Sadiq. Abid Sadiq is a technical recruiter. So he he is at liberty to show his face. So, so these guys will be around with us tonight, and they will show us how to break into cybersecurity without struggles and tests. Then number 5, questions and answers. Then number 6, next steps. Questions and answers, next steps. Right. So that's that for that. Right. So very important. Very important. Right. So that's that. So let's start with who am I? Who am I? Because I'll be your host for tonight. So you need to, and I'm the founder of Digital Consulting. So I'd like to share a few things about myself as we proceed with tonight's session. So who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I think I should start with pictures. Okay, let me not start with pictures. Let me start with the very simple things. Just like some of you watching me, I also transitioned into tech. I used to work as a tax accountant at a multinational, the largest indigenously owned Nigerian oil exploration and production company. And before that, I was a tax consultant at a multinational Big Four tax and auditing firm. So like many of you watching me, I also broke into tech, right? So who am I? I used to work at a multinational Big Four tax and auditing firm, and I was there from 2013 to 2018 as a tax accountant. Then 2018, I got a job as a senior tax accountant with the largest indigenously owned Nigerian oil exploration and production company, and I was there from December 2018 to February 2020. I'm a pastor. Currently, I pastor Household of King's Church, which is at Ojodubega, Lagos. For those of you who are conversant with Nigeria, you know that welcome to Bega means welcome to Lagos. So I'm married. This is my lovely wife, right? This is me right here. This is me right here. Do my thing. So this was at the start of the church, as you can all see. Right. So a few pictures, so that when you see me, you can recognize what I look like. What do I look like? Okay, so let's get this started. Let's get this started. Okay, so right now, so this is me right here. Me right here. Right, so okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Please, we can hear me. Can I see your hands? Can I see your hands if you can hear me? Okay. Okay. So please, can you all see my screen? Can see my screen? Can I see your hands? Okay. Okay, cool. So this is me right here. I'm married. Sorry, I just had some challenges, right? This is our church, right? Okay, so okay. So just a little about myself, as you can see, right? Yeah, so that's that about me. Because of our time, you can also check me out on Instagram. For those who are conversant with Instagram, can check me out on Instagram. Then from there, we talk about digital consulting itself. Talk about digital consulting. So let's check me out on Instagram. Okay. Okay, so let me take you to, so I have a page on Instagram that you can follow. A page on Instagram that you can follow. Okay, so let me share my personal page on Instagram. So here is my page on Instagram, as you can see. So check me out on Instagram and you see, we'll see all that. Right, so we're good. We're good. So this is my page. Check out my page and check out my page. And once you check out my page, you get all the information, right? So cool. We're good to go. We're good to go. So that being said, let's go back to our slide. Let's go back to our slide. That being said, let's go back to our slide. Okay, so let's go back to our slide. Okay, so I've done the first one, which is I've introduced myself to you. I've introduced myself. Then the next thing is let's look at digital consulting. Digital consulting. So what is digital consulting about? What is digital consulting about? So we have to look into this. What is digital consulting about? So at times I get people say things like, I attended a tech training program and it wasn't good. They didn't teach me well. I didn't get so much value out of it. And I always tell people that before you register for any tech training program, you have to do these three things. And I'm about to show you the three things you need to do before you register for any tech training program. I mean, any tech training program. These three things are very, very important. And let's try that right away. So the first thing is you go to Google. You go to Google, and when you get to Google, check out the reviews. Check out the reviews on Google. So just hold on. Go to Google and you check out the reviews. So do digital consulting reviews. Okay, let's get this going. Digital consulting reviews. Right. So Here we are on Google, and you get to this side, you check out the reviews, digital consulting reviews, right? So that's the first thing. Check the reviews of the organization. If the organization are saying they are who they claim to be, then you need to check out their reviews. So what do they have to say, or what do their students have to say about them? So in this case, check out the review of digital students. These are people who have gone through our program, and you can see loads of stuff about them. So that's very important. Check out the reviews. What has been their student experience like? So that's number one. Number two, check them out on LinkedIn. Check them out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very important because that will show you how they've handled other students. That will show you how they have handled other students. So LinkedIn is very, very important. LinkedIn is very, very important. How have they handled other students? So let's go to LinkedIn right away. Just give me a minute and I'll take you to LinkedIn. So let's go to LinkedIn. Okay. So let's see what our students are up to on LinkedIn. What our students up to on LinkedIn. So let's do this. If you're following me, we just have to get this done before we move into the main thing for today. So if you are still with me, can I see your hand? So we are on item number 2. What is digital consulting all about? What are we all about? What have we been doing? What has been the experience of our students? What have been the student experience? And when we are done with that, we'll move to item number 3. So waiting for LinkedIn to load. So we are right here. Digital consulting. Leave me alone, no LinkedIn, leave me alone. So you search digital consulting on LinkedIn. And when you search us out on LinkedIn, you wait for it to load, then click on post. Post. Right. So when you click on post, you'll see activities of our students. So this is a student showing his project. This is another student showing his project. This is a student showing his project. This is another, okay, this is from us. This is a student. This is another student. This shows how the class goes. This is a student, you know, reflecting on the journey. And you could do by, you could also filter. You could do by filter, and you could do in the past week. Let's do in the past week. Let's see what our students have been up to in the past week. Okay, this is not, it's not coming up as I want. Okay. Say latest. Let me just do latest. Okay. So, know why this is okay. Let's leave that. It seems they're having an issue there. So we could go down, see what they're up to, right? Then down, this is another thing to talk about. Let's go to page 2. So this shows you what our students are doing. This shows that this is a very practical program, a very practical and project-based program. This is another student showing their certification. This is GRC, Bob Suit. This is a student doing a 30 days challenge. This is Philip talking about his journey so far. So you have an understanding. We could also go to page 3. You have an understanding of what we have been up to. So because of our time, I think I'll stop at page 3. Okay, this is another student who is into GRC. This is Ugochukwu. This is Olumide. This is a student showing his project work. Another student showing how he's using, okay, this was Wireshark class. So this is how the program runs, right? So you can see what our students are doing. So that's the second way to check out an organization. Then the third way is check out their social media. check out Google's, check out their social media, but I will just stop at the social media. Tonight, I will stop there because we have a long way to go, a whole long way to go. So, digital consulting, right? So, check their social media. Check out their social media. So here we are. Okay, so this is digital consulting. This shows the activity of the class. Okay, this one passed. This is an exam testimonial, as you can see. This is an exam testimonial, I think passed CompTIA Security Plus during the course of the program. This is a job testimonial. This is a job testimonial. This is, I think, another, okay, this is another testimonial completion. We have job testimonials here, right? This is another one. So on and on and on and on like that. So check out their social media profiles, check them out, see what they've been. So this will just give you an idea of the organization and the people that make the organization, right? Even though we are not so big on social media. So that being said, what is Digital Consulting all about? So Digital Consulting is a tech training institute. We started from Lagos, Nigeria, but now we are in Europe and North America. And tonight's cohort is actually for people in Europe. That is, this is our Europe cybersecurity cohort. And in the last 5 years, we have helped thousands of Africans and non-Africans to transition to a career in tech without a computer science background, without a tech background. So that is what we do. And at the moment, we are close to 55 staff strength, helping our students to get their first tech job, right? So that is what Digital is all about. And at this point, we move to the third thing on our list, right? If you are still with me, can I see your hands? Like I said, tonight we'll be having a cybersecurity professional with us and a technical recruiter with us. I'm just laying the foundation. So the next question is, why tech? Why you should break into tech, or why should you break into tech? And why cybersecurity? Why tech? Why break into tech? Why cybersecurity? Why? Okay, so I will run you through a slide to explain this better and to clear some of your misconceptions about tech. Some of us have misconceptions that have to be cleared tonight. Why tech? Why break into tech? Why cybersecurity? Right? Why cybersecurity? Good to go. So we're good to go. Let me just share this and use this to explain to us what we're really up to. So transition to a career in tech and get remote jobs as a cybersecurity professional, SOC analyst, threat intelligence analyst, security auditor, incident responder. Okay, I'll be able to explain this with time. So why switch to a career in tech? Number one is IT opportunities are abundant, but the laborers are few. So that is why you don't need a tech background to break into tech, because there are lots of IT jobs, a lot of IT jobs. I know of a student of ours who started the program in August, and within a month of the program, she had gotten a job as a SOC analyst within a month of the program. Now, not everybody's experience will be like that, but that is just to show you that there are opportunities in cybersecurity. There are lots of cybersecurity roles and lots of cybersecurity opportunities. So because of that, the barrier to entry is getting lower. So recruiters are not looking for your master's degree, your PhD degree, your 15 years experience, 1,000 certifications. They are not looking for all that. If you can do the job, you can deliver on the job, we are good to go. Because when there is a high demand relative to the supply, then the barriers have to be reduced, right? They have to break, some restrictions have to be removed. So that is why we have all this surge whereby there's a situation we say things like, oh, break into tech without a cybersecurity background, without a tech background. And some people will wonder, you mean I can break into tech with just 5 months of training? Yes, because there is a massive demand. There is a massive demand for these jobs. And once you have the skill, you are good to go. One other thing about tech is that there is potential for remote jobs, flexible job schedules, freelancing, and a shortcut into making 6-digit income. So I have tutors in Digital who do multiple remote jobs. Some of them are based in Nigeria, some of them outside of Nigeria, and they do multiple jobs because they can work remotely, right? So that's one beautiful thing about tech. It gives you that flexibility. It has, there's a career trajectory, right? Number 3, no IT background needed. No IT background needed, no university degree needed for most jobs. And don't take my word for it, I will actually show you tonight. No IT background needed, no university degree needed. So let's look at it. For many tech jobs, for many cybersecurity jobs, like I said, it's about the skill. If you can get the job done, you are good to go. If you can deliver, you are good to go. If you can do the job, nobody cares about your university degree or your master's degree. What they care about is, can you deliver? Can you do the job? Do you have the necessary skills? If yes, welcome, right? So let's just do, let's go to LinkedIn and let's do a search. Let's look at these things on LinkedIn. I'll share my screen right now. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Let's check this out ourselves. So there are various ways we can search, but I would prefer to just use the very broad term, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. And we'll use UK for this test. Use UK cybersecurity in jobs. Just a minute. I don't know why this isn't loading well. So we'll check cybersecurity in jobs. Okay. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, cool. So cybersecurity in United Kingdom at the moment, we had 10,000 results, but we are not interested in all the results. So I'll apply a filter. Let's just check out the last, okay, dates posted the past week, because just posted in the past week they are still relevant. So let's check out the past week. Okay, wow. In the past 1 week, jobs related to cyber jobs. And when a bid comes tonight, it will explain to us why there has been a surge in job offers in September. There is something called the September rush when it comes to tech, right? I don't know whether it applies to other jobs, but I know for tech in the United Kingdom, there is a September rush. So in the past 1 week, 3,634 jobs have been posted in cybersecurity in the United Kingdom. That is massive, massive. I think I'll just reduce it to the past 24 hours. Oh, in the past 24 hours, 1,000 jobs have been posted relating to cybersecurity. Okay, so let me just check a few of them. So this is 23 hours ago. In the last 24 hours, 1,206 jobs were posted. There is a surge going on right now, a surge. So let's look at this. I won't waste much time on this. You know, what are they looking for? We are looking for a cybersecurity associate. Applications closes 30th of September, right? So let's look at what you'll be doing. Support this. We need you to have familiarity with this. What is it for? This. Nothing like a university degree here. Nothing like a university degree. I can't even see certifications here. Of course, during the course of our program, you get certifications, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is your skill. Your skill, that is the most important thing. And this job isn't doing bad. 33,000 pounds to 41,000 pounds. Annual bonus and benefits. It's a cool job. So let's check out this. This is and that is for an associate. So this is a senior information security. This came out 41 minutes ago. So what's the job description like? So here we have this relating to this, what you need to do, and show. So we can see, I'm not saying master's degree, I'm not saying bachelor's degree here, I'm not saying PhD. All I'm saying is, can you do this? Can you do this? Are you familiar with this? Are you familiar with this? And for certifications, you will have 2 or more. That's good to go. You have 2 or more of any of this, you are good to go, as well as a lot of on-demand. So that's the second one. That's the second one. Let me look for another one, information security compliance analyst. Information security compliance analyst. So this is the September surge. A lot of job openings are coming up in the UK, as we can see. So yeah, what you need to do: conduct security and IT controls testing, drive the assessment, provide policy compliance. What you need to know and show, familiar with this, be able to do this, critical thinking ability, someone support you. That's all. That's all. They're not asking for 5 degrees. They're not asking for 6 PhDs. They're not asking for 50 certifications, right? They're not asking for all that. So let's look at the cyber risk and insurance manager. Now, this is just one way of searching. Another way, I could search using threat intelligence analyst. I could search with pen tester, because all these are cybersecurity. I could search with SOC analyst. I think, let me just do SOC analyst. SOC analyst. So there are just different ways of searching for cybersecurity, because all these are cybersecurity rules. So for SOC analysts in the past 24 hours, this is what we have. So let's look at this. Okay, I think I'll look for another one. Security analyst. So this is a very specific term. So I'll go for security analyst resources. 15 hours ago, okay, 1 hour ago, 2 applicants. So what do we have here? What do they have for us? As a team, you will do this, you will do this. The following skills and experience are essential. At least 3 years of relevant experience, a professional such as ISO 27001. You get that during the course of the training. ISC squared, you also get that too. So this is as far as time will permit me. But let me say a few things here. Now, for many of us, and when Adebayo comes on, he will still talk a lot about what I'm about to share with you. But a lot of people will see these jobs, and the next thing will be like, oh, they're asking for 3 years of experience. 3 years of experience. Oh, I'm just starting out in cybersecurity. How do I get 3 years of experience? So listen, 3 years of experience is a way of qualifying what they want. Is a way of qualifying what they want. So for instance, let's say I want to get to the UK in 6 hours time. So I tell someone, I said, how can I get to UK in 6 hours time? What I want is not necessarily a jet or any kind of, all I just want is anything that can get me to the UK in 6 hours. So if it's a jet, that's good to go. If a supersonic jet, that's wonderful. That will even get me there in a lesser hour. So what I want is not, oh, I want a supersonic jet. No, what I want is to get to the UK in 6 hours. So now saying a supersonic jet, we need a supersonic jet, or we need a Boeing 707, is a way of quantifying and qualifying what I want. That is not actually what I want. What I want is to get to UK in 6 hours. So when recruiters put 3 years experience, 5 years experience, it's a way of saying we want somebody that has the competency, the skill sets of an individual that has been working in cybersecurity for 3 years. Is a way of quantifying and qualifying it. That is not actually what they want. What they want is that we want this person to have the same skill set. We believe that for someone who has worked in cybersecurity for 3 to 5 years, they will have this particular competence, this particular proficiency and skill set. So for many people, and here's a very powerful hack, most times you are unlikely to get an entry-level role if you are trying to break into cybersecurity or break into tech. And it's a mental thing. If you are going for entry-level roles, the chances that you will get an entry-level role is slimmer. But when you are going for mid-level roles, roles that require 3 to 5 years experience, your chances are higher. Why? Because number one, there are more mid-level roles than entry-level roles in cybersecurity or in tech. There are more mid-level roles. Most organizations are not looking for entry-level. This is cybersecurity. There's no time to be babysitting. This is cybersecurity. They want someone who will come with a level of proficiency, then they will take it up from there. So you are shooting yourself in the leg if you are applying for entry-level roles and all you're just the entry-level roles. You will, after some time, you give up. So what a bootcamp does for you is that it places you at the skill set, at the proficiency level of an individual who has been in cybersecurity for 3 to 5 years. How? Through a project-based training. Through a project-based training, right? Then there are now other ways around it that we'll get to talk about during the course of the training. But I needed to share that with you, that this thing is in the mind. It's in the mind. It's a mental thing, right? Another thing is no age constraints. No age constraints. You can start at any time. At any time. So I tell you about Buki Wright, is an ex-Hollywood actress, a Nigerian actress, and she transitioned in cybersecurity at the age of 44. At the age of 44, she transitioned into cybersecurity. So don't have this idea, oh, you know, I think this tech thing, oh, this cybersecurity thing, I think it's for all these whiz kids, all these teenagers. You know, no, there's nothing like that, because there is a demand. If you put in the work, you will get the results. If you put in the work, you get the results. And at this point, let me say this, especially to people in the United Kingdom. Now, this program is for people in Europe, but I would be using the United Kingdom for most of my references. Now, you see, you have to, I was discussing with one of our tutors last week, and we were talking about our student experience, the experience of our students, and what the future forebodes for them. Now, the thing is, if you are doing a shift job or a manual job, a job that is an hours-based job, and when you clock in the hours, you are paid based on the hours you clock in, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Rome was not built in a day, and everybody has a starting point. So nothing wrong with that. The only challenge is that you shouldn't do this forever. So you've relocated to the UK and you have a job that you are doing, and it's a shift job, they pay you per hour. It's cool, but that is your starting point. That should not be your end point, because these jobs, there is no career trajectory. There's no career progression. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you are still doing the same thing. And here's the risk there. When you come into the UK, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago or thereabout, and you start doing these kind of jobs, it looks juicy, it looks wonderful, like it's at least better than Africa, where you are coming from, or Asia. But here's the challenge. Life, your bills will keep rising. Your responsibilities will keep growing. It will get to a time that you get stuck. You'll be stuck. That's the fact. And you are working, but you are not really seeing the money, as it were. Your standard of life cannot go beyond a particular level. So our advice to people has always been this. While you are at this job, doing this shift job, doing this hour-based job, get a tech skill. So if you have to do, if you have to work 5 days instead of 6 days in a week, so that you can acquire a tech skill, so that you can be focused, reduce your days of working to 5 days. If you have to reduce your hours, reduce it. It is better to lose in the short run and gain in the long run than to lose in the short run and also lose in the long run. And also lose in the long run. This is very important. Now let's flip it and come to tech. In tech, your first job might not be paying you £100,000 or £80,000. But there's one thing about your first tech job. It can only get better. It can only get better. There is a career trajectory. You keep moving higher. For every month, every year you spend working in tech, your value is increasing. Your value keeps increasing. With your experience, you can leave UK today and go to the US or go to North America or go to Germany or go to any nation in Europe, because every experience you acquire makes you more valuable. So this is not about the present. This is about the future. And that is why we are putting our heart into this thing, because our passion in Digital is to help as many Africans and non-Africans as possible to transition into tech. Indians, Pakistanis, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Kenyans, Rwandans, and Ugandans. Those are like our student base, right? So this advice is very important. Now, LinkedIn is your friend, remote job websites, all this stuff is there. So before I bring Adebayo in, let me just run through this. Cybersecurity refers to the practice of protecting computer systems, networks, software, and data from digital attacks, unauthorized access, damage, or theft. It involves implementing measures to prevent, detect, respond to, and recover from cybersecurity attacks. Cybersecurity involves the implementation of measures and controls to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information stored in digital format. In today's digital world, where organizations rely heavily on technology for various operations, cybersecurity is crucial to safeguard sensitive information and defend against cyber threats. These threats can come in various forms, including hackers, malware, phishing, ransomware, insider threats. So the CIA of cybersecurity, very important, confidentiality. Information is accessible only to authorized individuals or entities. Protecting data from unauthorized access or disclosure. So information is confidential. Integrity, the accuracy, reliability, trustworthiness of data and systems. So is information confidential? Does it have integrity? Availability, ensuring that information and systems are accessible and usable when needed. So it's one thing for information to be confidential. It's another thing for information to have integrity, yet is another thing for the information to be available when you need it, right? And that is where we have things like DOS attacks and DDoS attacks, that are distributed denial of service attacks, where the information is there, but you can't access the information. So that is why availability is important. So there's authentication. As you can see, there is authentication right there. For those of us who use WhatsApp, that's a form of authentication. So it's that clear. Network security, protecting computer networks from unauthorized access and attacks, right? Application security, securing software applications. So the beautiful thing about cybersecurity is that there are many fields in cybersecurity, right? The first broad division is that there's the non-technical area, which is the GRC, and there's the technical area, which is the technical side of things. But in digital, we teach you everything. We teach you everything, and you specialize towards the end of your program. But we teach you everything because you cannot be too specialized in cybersecurity. You still need the broad knowledge in specializing. I always tell people who say, "Oh, boss, sir, why do you teach GRC and you teach technical cybersecurity? You teach both technical and non-technical." The reason is that a technical cybersecurity professional who has knowledge of GRC stands an higher chance of getting a technical job than a technical cybersecurity professional who has no knowledge of GRC at all. So it's always an added advantage, right? So application security, securing software applications to prevent vulnerabilities and protect against unauthorized access or manipulation. We have incident response, developing and implementing plans to respond to cybersecurity incidents, security awareness, we have compliance and regulations. So these are the various fields. I will share a picture with you that explains this much better. I have a particular picture here, so you will see the various fields in cybersecurity with this picture. The various fields in cybersecurity. Okay, so here we are. I might need to zoom. Okay, zoom this picture. Okay, so as we can see here, application security, architecture. So this is one beautiful thing about cybersecurity. There are just many roles. There are just many roles. So, and because there are many roles, there are a whole lot of job opportunities. One of our students got a job as a supply chain security analyst. Supply chain security analyst. I don't think that is even here. And that's another job role in cybersecurity, right? Managing the cyber risk in the supply chain of the organization. So we have security auditor here, cloud security engineer, compliance, education, which is what I'm doing tonight. Education is another big deal in cybersecurity because security awareness trainings must occur frequently. So we have engineering here, we have generalists, we have governance, that is GRC, governance, risk, compliance. So this is governance, this compliance. As you can see, that's the non-technical side. Compliance, governance is non-technical side. Now we have investigation. So when you hear things like forensic, this is where they belong to. Forensic, this is where they belong. Application security. So when you develop applications, their job is to ensure that the application is secure before launch. Cloud, this guy secure the cloud. Audit, this is the risk side of the GRC. Risk, security auditor, they audit things, right? Compliance, education, engineering. The cybersecurity engineer does the installation of the cybersecurity defense framework. So here's the investigation, malware analyst, cybersecurity crime investigator, incident and intrusion analyst is under investigation. When there is incidents, fraud, these guys coming. Networking, they ensure that the network is secured, right? Offensive. So when you hear ethical hacker, penetration tester, hacker. So cybersecurity is not just all about penetration testing. As you can see, penetration testing is a part of cybersecurity. Is a part of it, but cybersecurity is not just all about penetration testing. Where we have operations, this is where we have SOC analyst, security operations center. The SOC analyst here, the senior security administrator, this is defensive. This is offensive, this is defensive. So they monitor, they maintain the existing cybersecurity infrastructure. We have data protection. That's also a field related to GRC. It's under GRC, the data protection officer, ensuring that data that is being generated, stored, received by an organization, transmitted by the organization is protected, so that the organization doesn't fall into litigations. Then we have sales. Cybersecurity sales is another field. It takes a cybersecurity professional to be able to sell cybersecurity solutions. We have threat intelligence. What do they do? So see them as the CIA of cybersecurity. So the CIA, for those of you who are from Nigeria, the SSS, Russia, KGB, Britain, the M16. So they don't wait for a problem to start before they act. So they preempt. That's why they are intelligent. So threat intelligence, they navigate the dark web, they scan, they do research, looking out for potential cybersecurity attacks. They study what hackers are up to, and they help to safeguard an organization against potential threats. So they are not waiting for these potential threats to materialize they are protecting the organization, advising the organization against these potential threats before they materialize. So for instance, if a bank was hacked and Bank B is in the industry, in the same industry as Bank A, the threat intelligence analyst in Bank B will not wait for Bank B to suffer the same fate before advising the management on what they need to do. So the threat intelligence analyst will study, okay, how was this bank hacked? What did they use? What tool, what process, and advise Bank B against a likely occurrence. So that's how this works. So that being said, at this point, I will bring on Adebayo Tanimowo to this session. And Adebayo works with a very sensitive unit with the UK government. So because of that, he can't share his face, but he's very experienced and he has been in the field of cybersecurity for over a decade, right? But he won't be able to share his face, but I will intervene him and I will ask a lot of questions from him. So let me bring him on to this session. All right. So I think he's right here. So Adebayo, I think you are here now, right? So, okay. So I think you are welcome. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. It's quite clear. Yeah. So you are welcome to tonight's session, and it's good to have you here tonight. So because of our time, the first question I want to ask you tonight is, how did you get into cybersecurity, into tech itself, and into the United Kingdom? Can you just walk us through the journey? Because I am aware that you used to stay in Nigeria at a point, then you relocated like most of the people watching us. So how did you get to the United Kingdom? How did you get into tech? And how did you get your first cybersecurity job? So over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's quite an insightful section since joining you guys. So I'd say welcome to everyone. So my journey into tech, I'd say, started at a very young age. I'd say it was primarily influenced by my father then, because when I was trying to get into uni, it was more of go and do information technology. I had no clue what that was anyway. So, but when I started uni, I started finding it interesting. So everything looked good. So that's where I had my foundational knowledge in cybersecurity. However, sorry, just to them. However, just because I had my bachelor's in Nigeria, I wouldn't say not so privileged to have access to like world-class I would say facilities and infrastructure to actually perform at a world-class level. So after then, I think during my BSc, B engine, sorry, I my intern was with the Lagos State government, where was in the science and technology unit, where we had lots of deployment and stuff to do. So that was more like my first entry experience. After then, I went into a consulting firm in Nigeria first, where we had lots of I'd say we had lots of contract, and which spans different field in cybersecurity, which gave me, I'd say, lots of experience into the different areas of cybersecurity. However, I came to the UK for my master's, which I would say changed changed the journey and changed the way I viewed cybersecurity from a technical and I would say from a real life perspective. So not to put anything down in Nigeria, but in Nigeria we've been told, or we've been made to believe everything IT is cyber, but in the UK it's quite distinct and quite differential. So in the UK you need to you need to pick a niche, you need to pick a focus. So in the UK I had my master's in cybersecurity, and I had lots of certifications, but mostly I would say I was tuned to mostly Microsoft certification. So I did it to the level of a cybersecurity architect with Microsoft. I also have my CompTIA to the advanced level, that's the CAS 004. So again, with cybersecurity, I've been able to, both in Nigeria and in the UK, I've been able to go into different private sectors and also government sectors. So that's just the, I'll say my brief introduction of how I got into cyber. So again, it was a long journey from my university days, seeing the differences in two different countries, seeing the differences in different industries, all this put together, I would say, made me who I am today.
Mm, mm. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. So the second question I have is, you have mentored a number of persons in the field of cybersecurity and helped many of them to transition into tech. So can you share with us their success story and why you think some of them have been successful? So the people watching us tonight are people without a tech background. And when they hear this, transition into tech without a tech background, it looks like a mirage. It doesn't look very real to many people. For them, it's strange, but for us in digital, this is what we do. So if you could just share with us some of these people that you have helped with mentoring to transition and why you think they were successful. Why were they successful, right? So over to you.
Okay, yes. To all the people I've mentored, I tell them that the first thing is it's the mindset. Once your mindset is straight, every other thing it's easy to go. It's easy to do. So we've had people from different, I would say, countries come to the UK, but because of the kind of people there or the kind of information they get at their entry point, I put it at their entry point,
Mm,
totally shapes what they want to do. For instance, if you come into the UK and all the people you know are bus drivers, 90% of the time
mm,
you become a bus driver. Again, most of our people we know the boss in we know the boss of we know the boss of people saying I'm going into healthcare and going into healthcare and stuff. 80% of the Nigerians that I would say, let me just say a huge number of the Nigerians that do come into the country technically have not done healthcare before, but they've been able to transition into healthcare just because lots of people told them it's possible they can do it. So again, it shows that if you can transition into let me say a job line that has to deal with people's life, that should be the most complex rather than you transitioning into a job that don't have to do with people's life. So again, if we
mm,
put it in that perspective, then we know it's easy. If you are into healthcare, if there's a mistake, it can cost a
mm,
person life, then you could go into prison. But if you are into any other job, technically might not cost a person his life, might
mm,
just mean
mm,
you need to redo it or revisit it. So again, if we put it in that perspective, we look at the risk evaluation, then we know, okay, yeah, it's not as complex as it is. And again, one thing I used to tell them most, I would say most people that have gone ahead of us years back, I say gatekeep the industry for a long time, which means because they wanted
mm,
to make all the money for themselves. So they were like, oh, don't
mm,
come into it. So again, if it gets
mm,
saturated, you hear them say, if it gets saturated, they might get paid less and stuff like that, but which is not the case. So again, a lot of people gatekeep it for a long time. But again, to me, the key thing is once you have the mindset you want to go into it, that's the most crucial thing. And you've also decided what part in cybersecurity you want to go into. Like the image you just shared recently,
mm,
cybersecurity could go into like as
mm,
many fields as possible, just depending on the industry you're going into, depending on the
mm,
sector, depending on what they do and things like that. So
mm,
cybersecurity is quite diverse. So
mm,
some of the students I've mentored in the past and have been successful. The key thing I told them is persistence and adaptability. It's not going to happen in one day. You need to be persistent. You need to build all
mm,
the confidence in as much as we give, let's say,
mm,
the normal training. If you don't
mm,
have, I would say, the social economical skills before these trainings are being assessed or before you
mm,
get into the interview, you are not going to be tested. So for instance, if let's say a recruiter calls you, the recruiter is not going to ask you cybersecurity questions at the first instance, it's going to ask you normal life questions, i.e. in the UK, i.e. do you drive, do you drive, do you live locally? So those are little things that I would say that first matters that you should put at the back of your mind. So for instance, I'll use the UK as an example. You applied for a cybersecurity job in London and you live in Hull, which is 7 hours away. You expect them to ask question and you're like, you don't have a prepared answer. So again, they've not even got into your cybersecurity questions before you being disqualified. So those are, I would say, key things I know the coaching guys also will tell you how to go about it technically and rectify. So again, I'm not saying certification is the only way, but again, I'm hands-on on certification just because I have quite a few to myself. So what certification basically does is it verifies who you are. So if you say you know how to use, let's say, AWS, for example, again, you telling me it's okay, but you having the certification to back you up says AWS has backed you up that you can do this. So it's a case of Mr. Alex has a driver's license, cannot drive and doesn't have a car. Mr. Wally has a car but doesn't have a driver's license. So again, it's now who are we going to employ? So in regards to cybersecurity, certification is more like Mr. Alex that has the certification but doesn't have the practical hands-on skills. But Mr. Alex has the practical hands-on skills but doesn't have the certification. So what we are trying to bring you with the certification and bring you also with the hands-on skills. So bringing the collaborations together. So again, due to my experience, there are some certifications I've just kicked out of the box just because I feel I see a lot of people do it, but I feel it's totally useless just because of the way it's being accessed. For example, is people writing CompTIA ethical hacking CEH. You can't write an hacking exam in an objective way. It shows no key skill. It shows nothing. So we promote other platforms like Blue Team Learning One, that's BLT Learning One, and other platforms like that. But I use BLT, for example, because these exams, these certifications are pure hands-on. You get to practice what you've done. Your exam is a lab environment, not a question and answer, not something you get a dumps for. Your exam is a lab environment where once you've done it, you know you've done it yourself. The other way to look at certification is where you look at certifications company will sponsor you for. How many companies will sponsor for CEH? Very few companies, but most companies will sponsor you to go and write technical exams. And most of the guys from experience, most of the guys that draft these jobs are HR guys with no experience. Because I've seen a job advert that says the candidate must have CompTIA Security Plus and CISSP. How can those both certifications be in the same sentence? Just because one is so high up, one is at the pinnacle of cybersecurity, one is at the entry of cybersecurity. So bringing both certifications in a job description shows the person that drafted the job clearly does not understand the aim and objective there.
Exactly. You just use a template.
Just a template. So again, with my guys, I say building a network. Networking is one of the key things you can do in cybersecurity in any organization you are. Apart from building a network, join professional bodies. We have lots in cybersecurity that are not expensive to join. They are free to join. We have the ISC Square. If you do the CC, you be an associate. Or if you have 5 years experience and you've done the CISSP, you can become a member. So again, I think that's about, I can't remember off my head, about 50 something pounds. Again, joining those bodies gives you informed knowledge, exposes you to new things. Other bodies you can join is ISACA. So again, in the UK, ISACA do organize conferences. So I've been to one of them in Birmingham where you get there, you see other professionals in your field, you see what they are up to, you see things, you meet captains of industries, you meet people. Why does that help? I.e., you're looking for a new job, you see the recruiting manager or someone in that company, you've met him before. It's easy to say, I or me, we previously met at the ISACA conference 2 years ago. Can you kindly refer me, or can you kindly just walk me through what is expected? In that case, you have a very good chance than just bumping into Yomi and say, hi, Yomi, kindly refer me. Yomi's like, who are you? Why should I refer you? But you need to have, or even if you've not yet Yomi before, just say, hi, Yomi, we both belong to, I am an ISACA member. Again, that gives Yomi like, okay, a good ground that, oh, we have a mutual body in common.
Mm.
Another body to join is OWASP. I like OWASP very much because
Mm.
OWASP gives that extra bit of I would say bit of professionalism.
Mm.
Once you join OWAP, you get your own office space, i.e., you get your own, let's say, your me at
Mm.
digital at owaps.com. So again, if you are
Mm.
using that for your job application, it goes a long way. It shows your professionalism rather than using your me at gmail.com. Again, anyone
Mm.
seeing that your OWAP's email shows this guy's professional, he knows what he's doing, he knows
Mm.
where to get
Mm.
information from and
Mm.
things like that.
Mm. Mm.
Also, though, that
Mm.
shows that you stay up to date with industries. You are
Exactly.
among the industry
Yeah.
leaders. You know what's going on. Then again, with my guys, I tell them specialize and focus. Again, the cyber field, it's so
Mm.
wide apart and also so close apart. So most of the tools we use are closely apart, are similar. But again, in the way we carry out these activities, they are wider parts. Just in the case of you mentioned threat intelligence, these guys go and look for I'll say IOCs or IOAs, that's indicator of compromise or indicator of attack elsewhere. But again, they are going to feed it into something where the other cyber unit guys are going to probably, let's say,
Yeah.
put a detection for or things like that. So
Yeah.
again, we can say the threat intelligence are
Mm.
more pre-incidents. They go and look for something before the incidents happen.
Yeah.
Same tools we
Yeah.
use are what they will use. Let's say we look at the
Mm-hmm.
incidents management. These are post-incident. It's still the same tools. Let's say the SOC guys use that these guys are going to use. So again, it's more of the positioning of whether are you the pre-incidents, are you when the incidents happen, are you the
Mm.
post-incidents. So that's just on tools level. So again, there are other, I would say, other aspects
Mm.
you can look into.
Yeah.
Again, transferring your previous knowledge into it is also very
Mm.
key. If you've been in a
Yeah.
field, i.e., you've been sales before, again, to sell a software application and you don't know what you're talking about. Imagine you go sell a software application and they're asking you, oh, what kind of encryption is this? Or where is this data stored? And you have no clue. Again, you being able to give the customers, I would say, good information and you able to relay back to your team what the customer is saying, I'd say is one of the, I'll say, optimal, I'll say, priorities in cybersecurity. In as much as in cybersecurity, the aim is to, I would say, to safeguard, there's also a business
Yeah.
part of it. So business part of it
Mm.
is to sell solutions. So if companies like, let's say, CrowdStrike, Microsoft are not selling solutions,
Yeah.
the job is not going to happen for anyone. So is these
At all.
solutions that are being sold to other organizations for, let's say, for
Mm.
instance, your company is heavy on AWS. That means you would then need an AWS guy in place. I remember some few years ago, some company reached out to me saying before Microsoft could sell them some certain product, they needed to have two security Microsoft security engineers on ground. So that means they had
Mm.
to get people that are the AZ 500 already with
Yeah.
Microsoft, then present it to Microsoft and say, these guys are on our team, just because different tier level, Microsoft too need to know where their product is going and who is using it. So with
Handling
my
it.
guys, yes, so with my guys, I remind them to stay focused. Again, it's not a one box fit all. You also need to know that you need to push a bit in every market. There's
Yeah.
always a push. So if you know what you
Yeah.
want, you get it. But again, the key thing here is persistent. Know why you started the journey. Then again,
Mm.
if you have like let's say motivation, but know why you started the journey, know why you are doing it, and also know that there's no room to
Yeah.
give up. So that's how
Yeah.
I
Good.
I would say
Yeah.
motivate my guys. So again, lots of them have good success stories. I think I shared some with you on their
Yeah. Yeah.
progress, and yeah, most of them are good. Recently, they provided some reports which are quite outstanding
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. So again, to me, I'd say success is more of an individual race, but with collective effort, these individual race
Mm.
can be shortened. So that's the aim.
Yeah.
If it took Alex 5 years to do it, why not everyone consolidate the knowledge and let
Mm.
Wale take 1 year to do it? Just because he doesn't have to go through all the back doors we went through. He doesn't have to go through all the others we went through. We said, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. That's all mentoring it's all about.
So I have a next question. Thank you for that. So there's another thing that a lot of incoming students are bothered about, and they have this idea that how can I get a job that asks for 3 to 5 years of experience when I barely started cybersecurity 5 months ago or 6 months ago? So they call it an imposter syndrome.
Mm.
So how do you think this can be handled? By the way, Adebayo is one of our career coaches and tutors in digital. So from your experience, how can this be handled? How do people overcome that feeling that I am not enough? I don't think I am enough. I don't even feel I can apply for a job yet. Because how can I apply for a job that asks for 3 years experience when I just started cybersecurity 6 months ago? So how do you handle this kind of situation? So over to you.
Yes, I think from what you just said, the first thing is self-rejection. Once you've rejected yourself, everyone's going to reject you. That's just the truth thing. And
Mm,
in I would say in cyber or in IT generally, the landscape changes really fast, really fast. So a
mm,
lot of
mm,
times, the people that I would say the experience you think they have might not be relevant. So again, we can't
mm,
say in this case, I'll use AI for example. We can't say we are looking
mm,
for someone that has 5 years experience in AI. AI is a new
mm,
technology coming out. So again, people that had
mm,
experience, let's say 10 years ago, let's say when they were using, then all of us, I say most companies were on-prem. Are they going to,
mm,
is that experience practical on cloud premises? Not
mm,
technically. Let's go
mm,
back to endpoints. People back then they were using, oh, you could hear someone say, oh, I have 20 years experience in let's say
mm,
endpoint protection or let's just say computer stuff like that. So, but again,
mm,
out of your 20 years, 18 of them are not relevant. 18 of them are not relevant just in the case, in the sense that we are no longer using those products that you had experience in, i.e. Windows
mm,
XP, Windows 10, we are no longer using it.
mm,
Which of the recent
mm,
one do you have
mm,
experience in? So again, when we look at
mm,
it from that platform,
mm,
it shortens the time
mm,
gap. Then again, with
mm,
experience doesn't, to me, experience doesn't mean time. I think a lot of us put experience in respect to time, which is one of the, I would say, the key things that has been flagged wrongly. So, Mr. Alex has experience for 5 years
mm,
doing the same thing. Does that make him more experienced than you?
mm,
That is more diverse
mm,
in 4 months.
mm,
So
mm,
if you've been doing something for 4 months and you understand it, you have good experience in it. That's quite good enough. Again, just apply. You are not the one to justify your experience is not enough. The people interviewing you will interview you against a knowledge base of 5 years. If you can pass that, then that means you have 5 years experience, rather than you saying you don't have 5 years experience based on the time. So you could be in an organization an actor. So okay, I'll bring it this way now. So a lady, she has a job. She went on maternity leave twice in 5 years. Does that mean she has 5 years experience? Because she's been out for two.
mm.
So again, we need to now start
Exactly.
we need to start putting
Mm,
experience relative into knowledge, not into time. So when you compare
mm,
experience into knowledge
time.
rather than
Mm,
into time, you now get a okay, yes, this is it. But
time.
again, it's one of the ways I'll say with quantified experience, it's always with time rather than with knowledge. So again, we should put once the knowledge is there, you can justify you can justify it.
Mm, mm. Interesting. That's a very clear answer. So there's another thing that newbies ask, and they say things like, oh, a lot of people want to transition into tech, into cybersecurity. Are there still opportunities for cybersecurity in the UK and globally? Are there jobs? Everybody is going into tech now. Will there always be jobs? Are there even jobs at the moment? Of course, I've answered a little of that, but I want you to just speak from the experiential factor because you are in the industry. Then will the cybersecurity and tech space keep growing? So what do you have to say about the fear of, oh, would there be saturation? Oh, everybody wants to go into tech. Everybody's also, wow, cybersecurity. So I just want you to answer that. Then I will also add some things to it. So over to you.
Okay, yes, I would say we are still in the, I would say, very, very early days of cyber
Mm,
in life. So again, we are still in the very, very early days. Computer just came into like public domain less than 20 years ago when everyone
mm,
started using it. And I would say to about 2015, 16, let me just say 2013, 14, 15. That was when most people had like real access to internet, where you had internet on your phone. You were not bothered about
mm,
going to a cafe. You could run applications on your phone. So again, that's just the, I would say, early bit of internet. And we've seen how normal applications we use have progressed over the
mm,
years. So for instance, I
mm,
use WhatsApp as an example. So previously WhatsApp, you could only send text. Now you can call. Now you can
mm,
do video call. Now you can do video conferencing. Again, it's showing
mm,
you that the limit has just started, that there's no limit. You
mm,
can it can expand. With the
mm,
global market, it's just the beginning. Lots of
mm,
I would say lots of companies are now moving into the cloud environment. Lots of
mm,
companies are moving virtual. Again,
mm,
this was taking like 5 years into the future. So like technically we are 5 years into the future of cyber just because of
mm,
COVID. COVID forced all companies to
mm,
adopt and to move
mm,
drastically into into the future. So what happened during COVID? A lot of business survived, a lot of business made money, and a lot of businesses lost money and went out of business. So the
mm,
businesses that made money, easy to say, all the guys, key businesses that made money had their platforms on the cloud,
cloud.
relied on tech. So examples, Uber, PlayStation, let's say Zoom. Again, that was when Zoom and
Mm,
Skype became very, very popular because most
yes.
times people were always in the office.
Mm,
So
yeah.
Skype became very popular.
Mm,
Streaming medias became popular. Netflix made its hits during
mm.
then. So
Yes,
again,
so
it's
a
just
whole lot of money.
uh,
Mm,
Netflix made this it. So we've seen the shift. That's just on one aspect. Again, e-commerce
mm,
has also made its own aspect of it. So again,
mm,
when we look at this, you now know that okay, the world is actually shifting to a new measure. So in the UK previously, or now I would say most banks are closing their main streets just because the banks that don't have main street offices actually doing
mm,
better than them just because all the resources were just kept back into the company. So we have companies
mm,
like Monzo, Sterling, Moniz.
mm,
These guys are doing way better than the main street bank like Barclays and stuff like that. So again, it shows more opportunities, more room. So what I'm driving out is if all the businesses are taking out their fears to the internet,
mm,
and what is cyber? Cyber is protecting what happens on the internet. So if all these activities are now taken to the internet, that means there are more and more jobs that would be available.
mm, mm,
So there are more and
mm,
more jobs that will be available for people.
mm,
Again,
mm,
it's led to cross collaboration in the sense that you could be living in let's say Japan and be working elsewhere. You don't need to be
mm,
technically physically present, unlike before where
mm,
if something happened, you need to go in office and sort it.
mm,
Now it's
mm,
also again it's now part of lots of company business continuity plan and disaster
mm,
recovery that oh we have our staff working everywhere. If anything happens, business is going to continue. No company
mm,
wants to have like even in case of an incident wants to have like their company shut down or stop. So again, this has led
mm,
to lots of jobs available, lots of solutions available. So in the nearest future, I don't think it's going to reduce. Again, I'm just trying to just come up see a fact.
mm,
Just hold on. So I don't think it's going to reduce. So, but again, there is always
mm,
market for I would say skilled professionals. So again, there is
mm,
shortage in the market. A lot of people will say they don't have job because the market says is looking for skilled professionals, not just any professional. A lot of companies will train you, but do you have the basics? Do you have the foundation
mm,
for them to build on? If you don't have the foundation for them to build on,
mm,
there's nothing they are going to train you
mm,
about. And another key thing I've noticed is people look for jobs in places that are not that are too let me use the word futuristic. They don't look
mm,
for you need to look for jobs in companies that have stood the test of time. So stood the test of time is their business model has stood the test of time. Those are the companies that you need to I would say technically target, not companies that you don't even know what they do or stuff like that. So for example, if you looking into the UK and use National Grid is a very, very strong company that these guys stood the test of time. These guys are among the top infrastructures. Again, anything that is going to happen, electricity is going to remain, so the company is going to stand. Are you looking into waste management companies? These are I would say social services backed by the government. No matter what, the company is not going to go down. Are you getting into those construction companies? So these are like key industries, key sectors that we can go into and say, okay, you want to be one of the cyber guys. Again, each industry, each sector has their own, I would say, cyber regulations, cyber standards. So for instance, you can't say you want to go into the construction sector now and say you understand PCI DSS, it doesn't apply to them. But if you are going into the finance, it applies to them. You can't say you want to go into the finance and you are posting your IPA. It doesn't apply to them. So again, it's understanding which standard apply to which organization, which sector, and what the organization is all about. So again, to me, I'll just say in short words, I would say, yeah, there's the high demand for cyber professionals, skilled cyber professionals in the UK.
Okay, wonderful. So I have another question. So as one who has had a lot of experience working in the UK with many organizations in cybersecurity, what would you advise as the blueprint for someone who is trying to break into cybersecurity, but they are doing an hourly job, or they are doing a care worker job, they are doing a job that they have to work long hours. They don't want to continue to do that job in the long run. So what would advice you would have for them? Then also related to that, for people watching also master's degree students who will be rounding up their master's program and they are looking at getting a job, because you used to be a master's student yourself. So what advice would you also have for them on how to go about this? What blueprint? Because at times people know what they want to do, but they don't understand how to do it. They don't know how this can be done. And you've been there. So what would be your advice to them? Those who are doing hourly jobs and those who are doing their master's program, who also want to transition into tech, into cybersecurity and get a job. Right. Over to you.
Okay, yes. So for those doing hourly job, I've been there. I think I'll share my story with you. Everyone has been there. So I would say it's not something new. We know you have dues and obligations to fulfill. But again, the key thing is looking into the bigger picture. So if you know your work has no progression, technically or it's dependent on, let's say, someone else canceling a shift or is seasonal. Again, I would say those are not stable jobs that you can use to financially plan your life in the Western world. So first thing, let's say the easiest way to find out is if you fall sick today and you can't go to work for 1 week, will you still get paid? Or your answer is no, then you need to get to a profession where you are covered just because you can basically do lots of other things. So if your answer is no, if your job has physical strain on your health, which is I would say one of the leading cause of I would say black death in Nigeria and in the UK. I would say in Nigeria because I'm driving a point. There are numerous times we would hear Mr. Hope nobody's Alex anyways. Mr. Alex went to Nigeria. He just got back from UK, 2 weeks in Nigeria, he died.
Yeah,
Lots of
I even know, I know two people that this happened to this year coincidentally. Yeah, but continue.
so this has to do with a lot of things. So I'll just use Mr. Alex as an example. So Mr. Alex has been in the UK. He has used his body to, let's say, 60%, 40%. His immune systems are down. But because the UK is like kind of fair, it's kind of, I'll say fair in the sense that you're not easily prone to diseases and stuff like that, he might not get affected. But Mr. Alex lands in Nigeria. He thinks he's going to relax in Nigeria. 2 weeks, mosquito has bitten him. His immune that he left Nigeria 3-4 years ago, it's not the same immune system he has. He's going to struggle. One, because he has not eaten proper food, he's just eating junks and stuff. Two, his body's physically weak. So these are one of the leading causes of people moving back to Nigeria, and they're like going on holiday and they're like, oh, she got in here and she just died. Another is the stress level. Just because you've been too stressed, you can't sleep at night, you can't do anything, and things like that. So there was a case, I heard the woman, she does night job in the UK, so she couldn't sleep. She was in her home in Nigeria, and there was this truck that passed, and the tire blew off. So that shock alone,
wow,
sent her away. So that shock alone, just because she was not used to it. Again, if her body or her immune was very strong and she was okay with that, she could have withstanded it. But again, these are just little, it's not in every case, but these are little things that we know. So we've had cases of I think it was a nurse or something. She was driving back. She was driving back from work, and she slept off on the wheel. Again, no normal sane person will sleep off, but it gets to a point where you've pushed your body's going to push back irrespectively. So she slept on the wheel, and she crashed. So again, when they asked her, she was like, oh, she was doing too many jobs, and she was doing too many night jobs and things like that. So again, it's I would say the economy here is quite hard, but again, it's you knowing your limits, you knowing why you came. The main reason of why you came is for like to get yourself settled and everything. So for anyone to be settled in the UK, it takes an average of 5 to 6 to 7 years. If we are being honest, if you came on a student visa, you are still on 1 year, 2 years, you still have like, if you are okay, if you are still on a visa, you are not settled. It's as simple as that. So you need to not be on a visa before you say, yes, I'm actually settled, because by then you know your rights, you know you're wrong. So again, it's you investing the time when you have less resources to be able to build yourself. So if you have a job, let's say you work every day, let's say 5 days a week, technically you can't be productive if you want to write anything down. Your body's tired. Your body's tired. You can't compare. You see people say they apply to 20 jobs, 40 jobs, no callback. You can't I would say compare a body brain of someone that worked 60 hours to someone that's not worked that week. The difference in capability is different. So there are times, I know every one of us has done this. You've written a message to someone, you didn't send it, then you wake up, you're not like, why did I write all this? So again, it shows you different, at different times, your brain levels are different. So again, it's you getting the optimus about yourself, you know what works best for you, and looking at the bigger picture. If 2-3 days is going to sustain you and make you all right, just do it and make sure that in the next 6-7 months, you are able to actually sustain yourself without compromising your health, because again, health is wealth, and just making sure everything is good. So I wouldn't say stop working. Do the minimum you can do. Make sure you progress in your career. The main aim, you came to the UK. When you were leaving Nigeria, most people came to study, let's say, MSc in marketing. With the MSc in marketing, you never thought that, oh, I would come and do let's say a warehouse job. So any job, if you are taken out of your location, you can't perform in another location, is I would say is a danger zone. So if you are, let's say let me look for a warehouse worker in Nigeria, in the UK. Can you go to Nigeria and become a warehouse worker and still live comfortably? That's the question. If your answer is yes, that's fine. If you are a cyber guy in UK, can you go to Ghana and become a cyber guy? Fair enough. If you are a nurse in UK or a doctor, can you go to other places and do that same profession? If your answer is yes, fair. If your location, if a change in location determines the kind of job you do, then technically you are not doing something right. So that's what I would say in regards to that. So just look at it. If I have to move to another place, do I have to go and do something else? If not, yeah. So yes. So then what's the second question?
The master students, who are rounding up their program. I think you've answered that actually. Hello, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think to an extent you've answered that of the master students, but you might
Yeah,
also want
but
to shed more light on that. Yeah.
yes. So with master student, I've seen a lot, just because again
Mm,
I do charity work for my church, and again
mm,
we help young professionals into getting into the industry. The first key thing we've noticed, or I've noticed, is I'll say self denial and asking the wrong people for question, asking the wrong people for
mm,
advice. So you could be, let's say, you want to be a cyber guy and you're asking nurses for advice. What advice? So I'm serious. So there's a friend of mine. It got so serious that she did cyber when we also did cyber, but she's a nurse now, just because everybody around her was a nurse and told her
mm,
nursing was the way. So when we finished cyber, she didn't pursue cyber. She went back to uni to do nursing, which is what's happening to most Nigerians now. Most of them will finish whatever course they've done, will not even do one job application. They
mm,
would go into something else and say, and because people say that's the way, because the
mm,
environment they found themselves, they feel that's the way. But again,
mm,
when you move around, you see that there are lots of also black
mm,
successful people, but no one's going to come and tell you do this and do that.
mm, mm,
And something about, I would say, we blacks we try to over um over research. So over
mm.
research in a sense that you're talking to,
Analysis paralysis.
yeah, you're talking to three different professionals. They told you what
Yeah.
to do. So Alex told you what to do, James told you what to do, and let's say Richard told you what to do. All of them
Mm,
are right in their own right based on their experience. But you now take the three experiences and pick out the good and pick out only the soft part and ignore the other parts. And now say
yeah.
it's not working. But you didn't go
Mm,
through what he said. So, for instance, now Alex is a data analyst. He says do data analysis. Only 2 months, 3 months into data analysis. Instead of you to go and meet back Alex and say, okay, this is where I am. What do you have for me?
mm,
You didn't meet Alex. You went to meet James. James says, oh,
mm,
don't do data analysis. Do this. At the end of the day, you spent all your time doing nothing,
mm,
but you
mm,
felt you were doing something. So again, it's
mm.
picking a direction and staying true to the direction.
Yeah. True to the
There is
course.
no there is no
Yeah.
occupation or job you would apply, you would get it. The first three, four, five, let's say there are three phases or four phases I tell people. The first phase is you not getting any feedback. That's when you
Mm,
need to work. The second phase
mm,
is you getting feedback. So the feedback is you even apply, they don't even tell you if they've rejected you or not. So they don't even
mm,
count you worthy of
mm,
even replying. The second part
mm,
is they are rejecting you, so they even count you worthy of saying, don't bother us, we are not looking at you. The third one is them even saying, okay, let's talk to you. So when you get to this stage, what that means is your CV branding is already good. They want to hear you. So once whatever you say there, it's now left to
mm,
you and your team to build on. So let's say you now pass there, you've gotten to the interview stage. The interview stage is always the most interesting one because after
mm,
4 or 5 interviews, you are now a
mm,
guru of the market. Just because,
mm,
for instance, because what happens there is
mm,
they point out your weakness for you. You go to a job
mm.
interview, they ask you questions, they
So
point
the,
out
the 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 interviewers are helping you to get your job because they are
yes,
assessing you until you get the job.
yes. So let's
That's
paint
it.
this. So let's paint a scenario.
Yeah.
Mr. Yomi comes a questioning. He looks
Yeah.
at it and said, "Oh yeah, I messed up. Don't worry." He applies for another job. So the key thing now is those things that you were assessed with or that were commented that you should work on will not be your new strength. You should push forward. So when
Exactly.
everyone has done this, by the time you're in your fifth interview, now you understand the market, you understand what they are looking for. Your
Exactly.
strengths are all coordinated together.
Mm,
Before they
mm-hmm.
ask A, you already know what the B, what the C is. And again, just
Exactly.
to say the interview is more like the most difficult part of the job. Once you've done
Mm,
the interview, every other thing
yeah.
I would say it's
Exactly.
it's a walk in
And
the
the
park.
interesting thing is these interviewers, these recruiters, they all follow a syllabus.
Yes, yes.
So once you've gone through some of them, you are better equipped to pass other interview because they are all as in getting their resources from a syllabus. They have their own
Promise.
curriculum that they follow. Yeah.
Yes, and if you are picking a particular, let's say, industry line, is you following that industry line to the core. So if you are following, let's say, manufacturing, you've done manufacturing 2 interviews, you didn't get, you now move to construction. Again, it's a different ball
Mm,
game, different assessment mechanism, different things you
mm,
are looking for. Then you now see you've
mm,
been to all the industries, you don't know any of
mm,
them, but again, you are not getting.
mm.
But if you stay true to one industry, there's
Exactly.
a
Or maybe
friend
one
of
or
mine.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a friend of mine. His name is Sam. So he's been applying. He's an engineer by I'll say by training. He's been applying to a company for so long. So the
Mm,
day he I think he has applied 4 or 5 times. They rejected him. The sixth time he applied, they called him because the manager said, "I recognize this CV. Let's see what this boy has to say." And he's
mm,
currently working there now. So because at times your CV might not justify or sell who you truly are just because you didn't put it well or just
mm,
because you were just
mm,
not I would say not so cautious about it. So yeah, that's what I would say. But again, the job market is open for everyone. In any country you go to, there's no one that's
mm,
going to come and spoon feed you. Either you do it in Nigeria, America, you need to apply,
mm,
you need to
mm,
get there, you need to get pushback, then you need to tell them, yes,
mm,
this is who I am and stuff like that. Yes, so that's it.
mm. Yeah, thank you very much, Adebayo, for tonight. So we've actually exceeded time. So in 2 or 3 minutes max, can you just tell the students what to expect at your classes? Classes starts next week, Monday, and classes holds Mondays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time. For those who are just getting to know about digital, it's £350 for a 5 months class, right? More details will be shared on the group. So it's for 5 months, Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays is for GRC. So what should they be expecting at the technical classes that you handle in 3 minutes or 2 minutes?
Okay, so yeah, I would say my own style of I would say teaching and learning is very, very unconventional. It's not the standard go and read, read,
Mm,
read. I middle of the
mm,
class, you could be watching YouTube videos, you could be watching a movie, things like that. Again, why do I ask students to watch movies? It gives you like I'd say it gives you an actual insight, an actual overview. So a movie, for instance, will tell you how the incident happened to what happened at the end, rather than you reading it in a book. But because you've seen it in a movie, you've seen how it affected the company, you've seen what the bad guy did, you've seen how the good guy caught him.
mm,
Those kind of things, I would say, stir up. I would say you to be inquisitive.
mm, mm,
Also, there are lots of,
mm,
I would say, group projects and a
mm,
lot of hands-on learning and labs and things like that. So again, it's going to be an interesting section. Everyone talks.
mm,
It's not the normal go and read X, Y, Z.
mm,
Again, there are lots of materials that will be
mm,
shared. But again, in every material I share a keynote, I share a study note that, okay, if you need to go back to this, make sure you remember all this. Again, key thing I always promote is knowing which area in cybersecurity you want to focus on. That also would help you
mm,
in I would say in
mm,
learning. Also, if you want to go to
mm,
certification, will help you in picking the right certifications
mm,
to do. So if you want to be, for
mm,
instance, a cloud engineer, you need to know what provider you're using or what provider you want to work with, i.e. GCP,
mm,
AWS, or Azure. So it's not just you being a cloud
mm,
engineer, you need to know what kind of thing
mm,
you want to specialize in. If you want to be a SOC analyst, you need to know
mm,
what kind of tool you want to do, or what kind of tool you want to specialize in. Just because
mm,
in cyber there are lots of
mm,
tools to use, there are lots of materials to use. So again, it's going to be an interesting
mm,
section, answer section, question and answer. We would all tackle ourselves. So like with the current cohorts, we all talk, we all contribute. It's not again, there are lots of things I
mm,
would say I want you to challenge it. Then there are
mm,
weekly activities,
mm,
weekly reports that you would draft up. Again, one of the key things I would say is lacking in our cybersecurity for I'll say people breaking in is the communication, which again we technically
mm,
overlook. But again, with activities that we do and I would say tailored assessment, it's always very, very good. So I think the last Sunday there was a tailored assessment where you gauge your skills against all domains. These are bespoke, I'll say bespoke assessment done. So it's not something we copied. I drafted it, and you see your results yourself. You get solutions. Then you're able to know where your strength actually lies, and where your strength lies might not be where you like. Where you like, your strength might not lie there. So again, identifying this on the quick or on the easy notes would help everyone just get everything good. But again, it's just going to be a fun class. We're going to debunk lots of I'd say difficult things being said about cyber. Again, it's an interesting career path to follow. However, it's a career path of continuous learning. So even though when you finish, it's not like it's going to stop. You still need to learn. You still need to learn. You still need to learn. Yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Adebayo. It's been a wonderful time with you tonight, and see you in the class. I'll be bringing on Abid right away. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. So Abid, so I'm bringing Abid on board. Abid. So, okay. Yeah. So Abid, you're welcome.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Can you share your video? Yeah, so we
I
can see. Okay,
can
cool.
indeed. We're
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Okay, so how have you been?
Yes, all good, thank you. Week's going really well. What about yourself? You're looking very bright and orange today.
Yes, I am. Oh, I am. I'm doing well too. I'm
Is
doing
that a
well too. Good.
reflection of your mood, the orange, the
Yes,
bright
it is actually. It
confidence?
is.
Yeah, I like
It
that.
is. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you. So, because of our time, we'll just go into it right away. So, for those who might be getting to meet Abid for the very first time, Abid is a technical recruiter with well over a decade of experience recruiting for top organizations like Uber, Microsoft. He has recruited for Microsoft, for Uber, for Teradata, for LinkedIn, and many other organizations. So he has experience in this area. And Abid is a career coach at Digital Consulting, where he helps prepare our students for interviews, their CV revamp, their LinkedIn optimization, soft skills, and everything that they need to get the job. So getting a job involves both the technical skills and the non-technical skills, both the hard skills and the soft skills, as the case might be. So Abid helps a lot in the career coaching area. So Abid, you are welcome. The first question I have for you tonight is, I observed that the last time you were here, when I did a search for the jobs, yeah, there were jobs, no doubt. There are always jobs in tech, in cybersecurity, but I was somehow surprised tonight when I was just searching in the last 24 hours for just cybersecurity jobs in the UK. And I mean, last 24 hours, 1,206 jobs were posted. By the time we did last 1 week, we had 10,000 jobs posted in just 1 week in the UK. So I know you've always talked about this September boom. So what's going on in the UK job market at the moment, especially for tech? And why do we have a recruitment boom in September in the UK? Right. So you could just give us that background.
Yes, I'll be more than happy to. And good evening to everyone else who's listening as well. Thank you for having me once again as well. So, yes, I am conscious that we are a little bit short on time today. So I probably won't go as in depth with my answers as I normally do, but I'll just scratch the surface of each of your points, really. So Absolutely, there are a lot more jobs in the job market, and you've absolutely demonstrated that by doing a simple job search yourself, and you see that more and more jobs are being added. So, data suggests, and several data over several years has suggested that September is normally a boom time for the UK job market. Now, there are a number of factors that contribute to that boom. And if we just have a look at a few of them, the first one is that normally around about September time is when a lot of the big corporations reset their big budgets, and they go ahead and try to plan for the next quarter, i.e. quarter four. And we've talked about this before as well. A lot of companies that are headquartered in the US, their calendar year or their financial year is usually July to 1st of July to the 30th of June. But that's not all companies. Some companies actually have their financial year mirrored in accordance with the Gregorian calendar as well. So it's January to December. So most of those companies, they are already now planning for quarter four. And they're resetting their budgets because, hey, this is the last quarter where they have to spend that great big budget that they were allocated at the beginning of the year. Now, if there's a surplus in that budget, then absolutely fantastic. That means they can retain or they can hire more headcount. But of course, with a lot of companies, and you notice this at this time of year, if they don't spend that budget, basically it gets taken back. So, if you put yourself in that situation, you've got a chunk of cash and someone tells you to spend it by Friday. Okay, but if you haven't spent it, they're going to take it away from you. What are you going to do with it? You're obviously going to want to spend it, right? So a lot of budget resetting and Q4 planning is done around this time, and then that surplus budget is used by attracting more and hiring more people, because of course more people equals greater productivity down the line. Second reason is that a lot of companies, a lot of employees now, after having a typically slow summer due to the summer holidays here in the UK, a lot of employers and candidates now are back onto the job market with that renewed energy. When you've had time off work and you want to go back into the workforce, you have that renewed vigor, that renewed sense of enthusiasm. And that's when recruitment agencies and companies begin to fill roles before the year's end, leading to a surge in activity. People have come back with that renewed enthusiasm. Lots of people want to crack on with new projects. The budget's there. So why wouldn't you, recruit more people? And then of course, one thing that we can't escape from is absolutely, there is an increased demand for tech talent across the globe. And, companies like the UK, the US have always been at the forefront of that. So, increased demand, renewed budgets, also point towards, hey, let's go out and let's recruit more people, especially, and I know you've been talking a lot today about cybersecurity or cloud computing as well. And these are the things that are here. Fortunately or unfortunately, I think fortunately though, these are the things that are here to stay for a very, very long time. And instead of the pool shrinking, fortunately, that pool is only going to get bigger and bigger. And that tallies quite directly with my next point, which I think will be received very well with the audience that I'm speaking with today, is the ongoing skills shortage. And, despite an increased focus on hiring, there does remain a shortage of quality tech talent, especially for those specialized roles. And, the gap does drive intense competition for top candidates, and it makes September a crucial period for employers to secure talent before the end of year rush as well. So all in all, September is a prime time to engage in the job market. There's increased opportunities, and there's a real big push by companies to finalize their hiring needs before the end of the year, or before that budget is taken away from them, just simply because they haven't spent it.
Interesting. Okay, so that's a very perfect answer. Like they have to spend the money by December, so this is the time to spend the money on recruitment. So my second question is, in your technical recruiting experience, what are the insights you can share with some of our viewers who are trying to transition into cybersecurity as to how to position themselves well, cybersecurity jobs, and how to pass some of the cybersecurity interviews. So I just want you to share with us insights from recruiting for cybersecurity roles. And yeah, thank you. Over to you.
Okay, no problem. I think first of all, to answer that question, and again, just to take a step back, cybersecurity is huge. I mean, there's if you mention the word cybersecurity, it covers a whole plethora of different tasks within cybersecurity. So one can be a security analyst, an ethical hacker, a tester, a security engineer. So there's so many different facets to that one word of cybersecurity. So I think the first thing is to be, as a candidate, to be really, really clear in terms of what specific role in cybersecurity attracts you the most. And then once you've got that role, what I would absolutely heavily suggest is that you become a master of that craft. And just to pick up a little bit about what your previous guest speaker was talking about, and I got the last bit of it, and I think that was very on point. The fact that if you do choose a skill, learn to be a master of that craft, and not just to be a jack of all trades. Basically, master the specific domain or the specific type of cybersecurity that you want to get into. And then the best advice that I would give for candidates, and we did cover a little bit of this in one of my coaching sessions earlier this week, is to, if you're not sure, and if you maybe are looking for your first cybersecurity role, my very, very strong recommendation for you would be to go onto job sites like LinkedIn, like Read as many I know it sounds weird, but read as many job descriptions associated with your role as possible before applying to any one of them. So I would read at least 5 to 7 job descriptions. Maybe even if you can highlight print out those job descriptions, highlight the key words, and you will see some regular occurrence of specific keywords in each of those job descriptions. So what you want to do then on your CV is you want to include those CVs on your CV, those keywords, I should say, on your CV. Why you want to do that is because that is what quite simply, you're telling the company that, look, these are the keywords that I'm coming up against on a daily basis. This is the skill set that I have got. And the more keywords in a specific area you include, the higher your chance of getting to that all-important interview stage. Believe you me, we as recruiters, we look for that, and we look for keywords, and we look for things that we've put in the job description if they match people's CVs. And I just want to point out something quite important at this stage here as well. If you think, okay, I haven't quite got that skill set, or basically I can't put all of those keywords in because I just quite simply haven't got that experience, look back to your education, look back at the syllabuses or the curriculum. So and if the keywords are there, chances are that you've studied it. So even have those keywords as studied module, whatever X, Y, and Z in my second year of university, did a presentation about X, Y, Z at my third year of university. That's a great way to show your enthusiasm and again to point out those key skills as they are what it shows to me as a recruiter is that those skills are still relevant in your mind. They carry some significance because you've taken the time to detail them out in your CV. So that would be a huge recommendation from my side as a newbie if you're probably thinking, well, I don't really have that experience, but I'm sure you will have studied it. Emphasize and bullet point the fact that you have studied it, and that way you'll still get the keyword in, if that makes sense. And with cybersecurity, there are so many ways that you can potentially use your experience. I mean, every single website is vulnerable to attacks. Every single website needs some sort of security against attacks, right? So again, you look at some voluntary work, churches, schools, maybe hospitals, care homes, these kind of environments, these kind of establishments, they'll all have some sort of a website because let's be honest, that's the world we live in these days. Every company, almost every company on the planet has some sort of a website, right? Try and get into that and try and sort of master the art of keeping that, I guess it's sort of if you want to look at this way in terms of an analogy, act as a security guard around that particular website, as if someone's acting as a security guard around the physical building. Why don't you act as that security guard around that specific website and put into practice what you have learnt? So those would be definitely my top tips. Go use as many keywords as you can, and highlight as much experience as you can, and of course highlight your enthusiasm, your passion, your willingness to learn. And I'm not saying by all means it's going to be a walk in the park, but think of it like this: it's the law of averages. The more jobs that you apply for, the more people are going to say no, but the closer you are going to get to getting someone to say yes eventually. So a lot of hard work, but just think about it in the concept of the law of averages.
Interesting. Cool. I mean, that was quite insightful. It's just that our time. So the last question I want to ask you, and I want you to also give a detailed answer to this is, like I said earlier, you are a career coach at Digital Consulting, and you help prepare our students for the job market, especially the UK job market. So what should the incoming students expect at your career coaching classes? You won't be teaching them network security or ethical hacking or penetration testing, but what should they expect to learn when they attend the career coaching classes with you?
Sure, absolutely. So in a nutshell, and I will expand on this, in a nutshell, it's going to be all things recruitment, all things talent acquisition wise. And that consists of so many different pockets. Like, for example, the last session that we had was, again, we went back to our digital footprints online, and we had a really intense session on different ways in which you can use LinkedIn as a free user without even using premium. And I think some of the participants in the session were absolutely blown away by the features that we went through, which they had no clue whatsoever that this was
By
even
the way, you had worked at LinkedIn, so you know a lot about LinkedIn.
So absolutely. So
I said you worked at
consider
LinkedIn,
this.
so you know a lot about LinkedIn. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is like a behind the scenes tour, if you like, and there is so much tool-wise, productivity-wise, that you can do on LinkedIn to enhance your chances of getting a role. So that's just one facet of some of the things that we do in our coaching. Other things that we've looked at, creating your actual paper CV as well, the layout and what's important, what's not important, those kind of things. We'll talk about interview strategies as well, from the minute that you get the first recruiter email or phone call inviting you to talk to them about your experience, how to go about that. We'll talk through different interview strategies. We'll talk through the different types of interview exercises. So they might give you an online test before your actual interview. So how to go about that. Psychometric testing, that's something that a lot of quite a few companies are starting to do right now as well, just to balance whether you're the right fit. How to convince somebody that you're the right fit. What interview questions, when there's that sometimes awkward moment when an interviewer says, okay, that's me done. What questions do you have? And put you on the spot. What should you be asking at that stage? What you shouldn't be asking at that stage, okay? How much research and how you can do homework before you actually appear on that interview. How to contact people from that company, asking for advice, help, asking them to talk to you about their framework for recruitment, asking about company values, the company mission statement. Do you know much about it? How to get all that information very quickly and very easily as well. All the way through to offer stage. We'll talk about potential relocation as well, from other parts of the world, from Nigeria in particular to the UK, how that all happens. And I will, on some of these journeys, take you right behind the scenes in exclusive discussions that maybe a normal candidate would never know unless they come to one of my coaching sessions. So there's a plug for you. Lots and lots, jam-packed. And what we do try to do very quickly, finally, we do try to make it as interactive as possible as well. We do have quizzes in there, so we try to break it up so it's not just me speaking at you for hours and hours. So we do try to make it quite interactive and a fun zone as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Abid, for your time. It's been a wonderful session. I just wish we could go on and on and on, but we have to call it a day, right? So I can see a lot of people asking questions, but I don't want this recording to be too long. So the replay will be shared on the group. Other questions that you have, you can ask on the group. All the brochures, the materials are also being shared on the group. But just to give you a few information in addition to what I've written, the program is £350. It's a one-time payment. Class starts next week, Monday. Classes holds Mondays and Thursday for the technical classes. Fridays for the non-technical classes, which holds 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the 3 days, right? All classes are recorded. The replay is made available. There are teaching assistants that will also help you out. So the way Digital works is we have the career coach, Abid, you have the technical tutor, that is Adebayo, then you also have teaching assistants. So further questions you have will be asked. The program is 5 months. If you are doing instrumental payments, it's £250 and £200. That's £450 a month interval. So you can also chat up this WhatsApp number for inquiries and for registration, right? So like I said, training starts next week, Monday. Registration also closes next week, Monday. Registration is ongoing. The replay will be shared. Do have a wonderful time. So all your questions, please just drop it on the group. The curriculum too will be dropped on the group. All your questions will be answered on the WhatsApp group. Thank you for tonight. Thanks for showing up. It's been a wonderful session. If you got value tonight, can I see your hands? I got value, right? So if you got your hands, if you got value, can I please see your hands? Can you raise your hands? If you got value, right? So thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely night rest. Bye for now. See you all in the class. Bye.